Hello everybody, I'm just here to show you 3 different little warden farms that I've been working on lately. I suppose each one of them will have their own pros and cons, so partial to one of them myself, but I'm sure there'll be one that somebody will prefer. I'll just show them all here. I will point out that the primary mechanics for these are things that I have seen other people do, and I'm just combining them together into farms that fit me personally. So here we go. First farm here. This is something that's mostly what Ilmango had put a video out on for Java. It's one of the designs that he had suggested, but it's a bit modified for Bedrock. So I got a little sign here based on Ilmango, and the main thing that I've done is just kind of verify the mechanics for what's going to be safe for the player, and added a trident killer up top here. This next farm over here, a little bit more complicated. This is based off of something that I saw Prime do, so that's 2357. He does have a technical Bedrock channel. I'll check and see if he put out a video on this, and I'll link that, or I'll just share a photo of what he had done. But what he done was flushed the wardens based on an observer watching the Shrieker, and he dropped them. So his was based on finding Shriekers outside of a city that were high enough up in the world to drop the wardens out of range. I'm just inverting that principle, and because I was a bit stubborn and I wanted to use a bubble column method that I saw in Gruva do, so that we get the wardens into the bubble column before they finish their animation of emerging from the ground. That way we get them out of range of the Shrieker fast enough. And then over here, it's bigger, but technically simpler to understand how it works. This is based off of something that Mike Homer had built. He built a whole tower of mob elevators to move the warden up out of range before it would finish emerging from the ground. And I've just combined this again with the bubble column principle so that you only need one floor here to get the warden into the bubble column. This is because as of 1.19.10, the warden will not spawn in water. So all these things are methods of making the warden get into a water column to get out of range of the Shrieker. So let's have a quick look at how some of these things are working. Start back here at the simplest one and explain how it goes. You've got your sensor here that's going to trigger your Shrieker. You've got your spawn floor. That is the 5th block above the Shrieker, so I've got that shown here. So Shrieker, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th block is our spawn floor, and our spawn floors are centered on the Shrieker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks out in both directions. So it's an 11 by 11 platform here. And just like Iron Golem spawning, they're going to spawn on the top floor every time if they've got the chance. If they find a spawnable block, but they are prevented from spawning here, they'll come down here. So it's safe to be down here just as long as you're certain that they're going to be spawning up there. If got anything blocking it, we need to spawn proof down here, and I'll show that on the other ones. Now, with this one here, the warden's going to be attracted to this. So let's just start by showing that here, okay? I'm going to use a trident to activate this because that's coming up in the newer versions, not the current version, but starting in .10 and 20. This trident's going to activate the Shrieker. Hi everybody, this is Art from the future, just putting the video together. I had recorded this in the previews, but now 1.19.10 has released. So rather than re-record, I'll just mention now that you will hear me say things regarding features not working quite yet, or they will be working in the future. You can ignore all of that. Everything that you see here now, once you've updated to 1.19.10, will work. It was built for this release and tested in .20 as well to make sure that it did continue to work. So I'll let you get back to the video, but just had to clarify that one comment there. See, we've got our foxes here. Now they're going to present a problem, and they're going to represent to us the issue of having a player too close. The Warden hears these mobs, and he's not so interested in the trapdoor. So what we need to do is have the player be far enough away. Now, if this is in an ancient city, you're not going to have mobs wandering around generally. Won't be a problem. Warden goes in the bubble column. Once he gets up to the top there, he is now far enough away that the Shrieker will work again, and we get another Warden. Up the top. We have our Trident Killer. For this farm, because the Warden has to fully emerge, which is 7 seconds, and then walk possibly the entire platform distance over, a single Trident can keep up with the Warden spawning. So this one's going to be at least half, if not slightly more, less than the speed of the other ones. So we're talking somewhere between 100, 150 Wardens per hour, just depending on how the spawning goes. You could potentially speed it up a little bit by cutting this platform size in half and spawn-proofing the bottom area there. But if you're just going with this simple little farm, that's maybe not that necessary. You can play around with it. One key thing here, we do need this flowing water here, because they tend to just hang out right on the edge. They don't fully commit. And so this just helps the shy Wardens get all the way into the bubble column to end up the top here. See, our Trident Killer's keeping up just fine. And we're collecting all of our catalysts in here. You can take this water and you run it over by the player, collect the XP, drop somewhere else, whatever you want to do. But this top block here has to be 29 blocks off the ground, 28 from the Shrieker, whatever you're counting from. Standing on top of here. See here, I'm standing at standing at 109 here. This is why I have this trapdoor here, so I can rethrow this with the Warden in the way. There we go. Standing at 109 there, and this is 80 here, so 29 blocks measured up to there. That gets the Warden out of range. Now, as far as if you're doing this without the Trident, keeping this activated, you can shoot that with an arrow. But if the player's hanging out here, just like our foxes, you're in survival, it's gonna see you. So this thing, at max, can be 8 blocks out from the Shrieker in order to trigger it. You can daisy chain them a little bit by having another sensor 7 blocks out. Still get our Wardens. And this is far enough that the Warden's not going to be able to see you. That's how we can get around it if we're not going to work with the Tridents. But you can just throw the Trident, have a little bit of wool there, you can leave that there all the time if you want. Then over here to this one. Show you how this one works. I've got my sensor down here, and I've got it waterlogged just so it stays quiet. So you can dress this up a little bit and have the sensor be hidden. All the player has to do, stand on our pressure plate here, move the wool out of the way on that piston we had down there, get our Warden. See, he's still standing up as he goes up there. But we know that less than 7 seconds, because that's how long it takes him to emerge, he's out of range. The 10-second cooldown of a Shrieker, we're going to be getting maximum rates here. That's enough of that. Now, In the previews, I have noticed that these tridents tend to disappear, so we'll have to see what happens come full release. That might be a bug. I'll play around with that, see if I can't report that. But you might have to watch out for that, maybe put the tridents away if they're disappearing on top of the sensors when it comes out to full release. This one, just because of our water streams here, they're only just barely wanting to make it to the center here. If I made the platform a little bit bigger, we wouldn't get nice water flow over here. So this is a 9x9 platform, not 11x11. I had to go down here, spawn proof down here, just in case the warden tried to spawn on a block it wants to have here and gets sent down here. I had to spawn proof this, so if it tries to spawn anywhere in here, it'll say I can't spawn here, and it'll keep searching, because it will search a few times without slowing down, and you're going to end up on top of here. Now, we'll go through how this works a little bit more detailed. Got an observer, it's going to power that block, and a redstone signal up here, and we get our water that flushes out. We also get our signal sent over here, this repeater. I've got the repeater set here on one extra click there, and a solid block to make sure that these two redstone lines don't mix, and that's going to turn this torch off, which will start allowing our pulse extender here to wind down. There's a little RS NOR latch here with this torch over here powering that torch. Keep these off so that this will actually run out of power. And then we send our signal through here, and just a tiny bit more delay with repeater and 4 ticks. These two repeaters make sure the signal can reach our dispensers. Again, on 4 ticks, just to make certain that the warden spawns at the absolute farthest block and decides to be a jerk. Does make it into the bubble column and up and out. Because the way that this platform is built, I was able to put our soul sand as low as possible, just to make it as easy as possible for the warden to get into the water. And then our redstone line comes back over here to turn this torch off, so that the latch gets reset and we're ready to go for the next time around. Because we do have our soul sand here, missing that block in the center, and we need some gates or buttons here to make sure that the water stays put. We are spawn proofing this center area here as well to make sure we don't get any surprises from the warden. You compact the redstone a little bit, you don't need these glass blocks here, but I did get a warden escape on me. Was able to spawn on something around here with my redstone extending out past our spawning floor. So you just need to make sure that you are filling up solid blocks above things or spawn proofing with slabs or buttons or trapdoors or something, just to make sure the warden doesn't escape. Up here at the top, we've got our trapdoor trident killers. And I didn't put this over there at that one, but always good practice where you can put another trapdoor underneath the one that's activating. That way, if this falls, it gets caught. But then, I'm just going to do a quick relog here. Okay, and we're logging back in. And the trapdoor is now up on top here. See, if I sit in here again, the trident's activated. So that is the combination of the direction of the trapdoor and having something that changes its hitbox, such as another trapdoor, underneath it to catch it. It forces it back up. I will link a video by Prime on his channel where he explains the mechanics of trapdoors a little bit. But you'll see here, this one I left running. When we relogged, it fell if I put this as a trapdoor underneath here, I'd be able to relog and fix it again. But for now, I just have to rethrow it. I believe I maybe mentioned, maybe not, but pumpkin points to the northwest. We want our hinge on the east or on the south, but we don't want our hinge against the block where you're throwing the trident. So that's why this is facing the east. And that's just the lazy way of making sure the trident is close enough to the edge. Okay. And now this one over here. Oh, I missed something, sorry. Tripwire hook here is how I'm powering this. That way it's I never have to come up here and turn it off. Again, this was designed in mind that it's going to be in an ancient city, and from about here up, you're going to be digging upwards into the ceiling. So I didn't want to ever have to come up here. So when I've got the warden activated, within 30 seconds of me stepping off of that pressure plate, the warden's dead, the items have flown out of here, and the system turns itself off automatically. So when you put your slabs in to get your water bucket placed here in this corner, you need to put some slabs in to the water so that your water will actually flow all the way over here. Before you remove them, you gotta put your tripwire hooks in and your string in. That's kind of a similar concept. I'm sure you guys have seen the slab to make the water flow method done in kelp farms and other things, so I'm not going to go through it block by block. But with a little trial and error, I'm sure just about anybody can build one of these farms. Back over here, again, if I were building this, I would use the tripwire method, make it so I don't ever have to come up here and have all the drops fall down by where the player is. But for now, you could just turn on a little comparator clock, power up all of our trapdoors. Then we're going to see here, where that guy, Warden spawns, it's going to spawn on this floor, which is 11 by 11. Now because I've got a soul sand block and some gates in here, I don't want him to get stuck in there, so I prevented him from spawning in here, and I prevented him from spawning up here on the north side as well, just because he did want to get stuck a couple times in the glass. So you might have to restrict him a little bit, but make sure that you spawn proof down here, which I did not do. So must have gotten just a little bit lucky when I was testing this thing, and I didn't get a warden stuck down there. So let's remove the wool and watch it. See, immediately triggers that and gets pushed up. And the constant water flow will push him right into that bubble column and hold him there enough that he gets pulled up. Again, every 10 seconds, away he goes. And we can see in action here that why I've got so many tridents up here is because they're coming in faster than I can kill them with one. So I need to be able to be hitting more than one of them at a time. Okay, now just to finish things off, I wanted to talk a little bit about the rates of these three. So this initial simple one, the rates are 115 per hour on this, and that is due to waiting for the warden to emerge and then waiting for it to walk over before you can clear the spawn or the search range for the Shrieker. So we covered that already a little bit. This one here, the rates are 320 per hour. So not what I was initially hoping would be the full maximum 360, but I attribute that to being just a little bit shy on the time limit for the Shrieker next activation. because there is a delay between the shriek and when the warden starts to emerge. We've actually don't have the full 10 seconds to get the warden out of range, so we're probably just going maybe a half second, 1 second, a bit too long, and not fully getting the 360. But still, 320 is pretty good. And then over here, we're at 347. Again, not quite 360, but better still. And the speed increase is probably going to be because we have an initial very quick bump up to here, and the water is always constantly pushing, where we have a little bit of delay waiting for the water to start emerging, and then not quite as strong a push as the water's flowing back. So those are the rates on these 3 farms. The original designs that these 2 are based off of, with this one pushing the warden off of a ledge and falling down, I expect that one probably does get the full maximum rates, because that'd be a bit faster than a bubble column. And again, this one with just the slime block pushers and the scaffolding going straight up, and not needing to do any kind of horizontal movement. I expect the original build of this one was also the proper maximum 360. But these farms, I feel, do still have their place, where you're starting with the Shrieker that's low on the ground, and perhaps you don't feel like putting in a whole bunch of redstone to move the warden up, and you just want to have a simple little bubble column. So those are the farms that I've put together here for you. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. Put it in the comments. I'll be posting links to the other videos that I watched in developing this, and if you have any conflict of mechanics that you hear between the videos, probably whatever Prime's saying is most likely to be right. I tend to get half the mechanics I base my farms off of from him anyways.